So first of all, again, my name is Gavis Dean. I'm a rapper, singer, spiritual leader from Croatia, but I was born and raised in Austria. So I grew up all my life there. I currently live in Vienna, Austria, which is the capital of Austria. Um, it's still a small ass country, Austria is like really nowhere basically. But yeah, I started really early with music when I was like 13, 14 years old.
Exclusive interviews, global voices, real stories.
My best
Yeah,
friend, like he's also my DJ, also one of my producers. He at that time he bought himself like a beat machine, like a beat pad where you like press on it and stuff. And that was for me like, okay, you're gonna do the beats, I'm gonna rap. Like I always wanted to sing, I always wanted to be the main person. And I think that was just
yeah,
like the thing that set it off, where I was like, oh yeah, right, it's time to do it. And yeah, through that, like, wow, it has been an insane journey through ups and downs, through
yeah,
achieving certain things, through still fighting for certain things. But all I can say is, thank you, God. Like, it has been beautiful. It continues to be beautiful. I'm all independent. I don't have no management. I don't have no team, no big team. I don't have no label, no nothing. It's really me, myself, and God, and I really take pride in that. For a lot of years, I
yeah,
used to see that as an insecurity because I was trying to get signed and it would just never work. It would never work. But, everything in life that happens to you prepares you for something bigger. And what was happening to me was just preparing me for something bigger, for really standing strong on my own too, really taking pride in the independence, not making it an ego.
yeah,
A lot of artists want to make their independence and being independent like their ego. I don't use it as an ego. It really just proves me like, yeah, okay, just put the work down. If you have a vision, if you're strong minded, if your spirit is aligned with what you actually want, you're gonna get there. You just gotta really push and work hard every day, really every day. Like that's the magic in every field in life is really showing up, putting the work in every day, 100%. Your 100% today is not gonna look like the 100% to yesterday. They might like yesterday you might have a
yeah.
better day, it doesn't matter, but every day, as much as you can, show up, show out.
Okay.
I love, I love Austria, okay? Like, even though I'm like Croatian, like Austria is still my home because like I grew up in here and stuff.
Yeah,
And like, of course, I have a lot of love for it being my home. Like any human, doesn't matter where they grow up, they're gonna get used to their environment. They're gonna have a certain appreciation for it. But
yeah,
musically, it's been horror because it's like I make English music, you know what I'm saying? Especially like hip hop music. So like one
yeah,
of them already is a little hard to navigate within Austria, and then both combined and like then doing it independent is like on a logical standpoint, it's really stupid. But as artists, we don't really follow logic. We have to follow our spirit, our soul's calling, and it's much deeper than something that's
yeah,
logical on paper. So back to your question, it hasn't really been helpful, but it shaped me. I think it, you know, in that position where I am and the journey I went on, it was going to be clear based upon me being in Austria. It's not going to be a lot of validation. It's not going to be a lot of
yeah,
people clapping. It's not a lot of people going to be supporting you. Quite the opposite. They're going to look at you. Wait, you're stupid. Why are you doing this in English when you can do it in German? And then we would instantly understand you. Now you're making it harder for yourself. Yes, in the short run, 100% made it so much harder for myself. But I always had a bigger vision in mind. I always had a bigger picture. I always wanted to do this
yeah,
shit in English because look, for example, we couldn't even have that conversation today if I didn't went the path and as an English artist, like English speaking artist, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to connect with the world. I wanted to connect with people worldwide because we're all humans. It doesn't matter where you're from, what culture you're from, what religion, what race, what nationality. All those things don't matter. They're beautiful that we have so many flavors, but on a base level, we are all the same. We all bleed the same blood. And
yeah,
I didn't want it to be limited by the German language. It's a beautiful language, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna just do it for that local region and call it a day. No, I will go through all the pain, through all the suffering, through all the mocking, all the down talking, all the hating that I had to experience and endure. I said I will go through all of that because I know what the message that I carry, the love that I carry is for the whole world.
So I guess you're a big wrestling fan.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up like as a child, like I always been a WWE fan, wrestling fan. Grew up watching this since like I was like 5, 6 years old. You know, my cousin
Yeah,
introduced me to it, and like I
of
don't know if you know
course.
the name John
Yeah,
Cena or anything like that time. You know,
of course.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, wow, he's so
Yeah,
cool. You know, with the chicks and everything. I was like, oh. It's similar to music in some
yeah,
ways, where it's like storytelling, image building,
yeah,
talking to the people and stuff. You know, first of all, R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. You know, I understand him, what he has said as a person, especially in the last time. Horror, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck, you know what I'm saying? For him to have such an ugly character is really tragic, you know? So the person, Terry, behind it, like, still, no, I'm really, when someone dies, like, we should still show their respect, you know what I'm saying? Who am I to speak ill? Right, yeah, the John Cena turn, you said you knew it's gonna be like bullshit, right? Like, you knew it's not gonna.
no, just the way, like when it happened, because it happened in my city, Toronto. It was done like really well. It was excellent. But the follow up, the 2 weeks until you heard from
Mm,
him, and then the explanation for it, I knew it wasn't gonna hit like Hulk Hogan's heel turn,
right, yeah.
because that one was there was so many different elements to that one where Scott Hall and Kevin Nash showed up in WCW, and before that there was a war going on between them where WWE was throwing shots at WCW for having all their all stars.
Right,
And,
yeah.
and then
Now, for me, like when it happened, I was like shocked. I was like,
yeah,
wow,
it
they're
was
really
it was,
doing
it was
it, you know?
yeah, it was good. It
And
was
I think how they did it, it was crazy, you know, with like
yeah,
The
how they
Rock
did it
coming
was
out,
great.
the whole selling your soul and stuff. I'm like, wow, they touching up on some real topics now, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, okay. And of course, a lot of people will didn't even catch that part. But still, but afterwards, the execution, no, like what I would have wished would have been like a loose John Cena. A John Cena who's loose on the mic and goes crazy on everybody, but then he would have buried everyone, you know, because like when John
Yeah.
Cena gets to talk, it's can no one compare to him, you know. John Cena
We're
run,
just talking.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
it started off great. Um, I'm still happy that I'm getting to see John Cena. When the music hits, hey, I'm
Yeah.
just a happy kid. You know what I'm saying? But of course, when we look at it as a wrestling fan, then it's like, yeah, underwhelming. Mhm.
So let's talk about your single No Contact. What inspired the track and what message were you hoping to send through it?
Yes, sir. So basically, to break it down, a no contact situation is like, let's say you're like in a relationship with someone, or you have like something more serious going on, and then yeah, like break up and stuff, and then afterwards, yeah, like in no contact, right? But no contact implies that one day you're gonna like come into contact again, otherwise it's just over, you know. And so basically, I was in that type of situation, so I was dealing with a girl at that time. Um, it was kind of moving serious, you know, in my head at least. Like I thought, like, oh no, it could be the one, you know, like, cause I'm so critical when it comes to love. I don't just love anybody from like romantic love. And with her, I really thought like, okay, it could be the one. But then like, you know, obviously it wasn't. And then I made that song, and that song, literally the first line is like, "This is your sign to break no contact." So in my head, I was like, okay, if the person hears it, like, this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling her, this is your sign to break no contact. But also, not just for me, I understood also, okay, the other people can send it to their beloved or whatever, you know, that they're in no contact with, and just like to break the ice, basically.
Okay. So you also have an upcoming single entitled Mysterious.
Yes,
Can you give
sir.
us a glimpse into its concept and sound?
100%. It's also in the same lines as No Contact. So from sound wise, melody wise, also topic wise, it's about another girl, but
Yeah.
that situation is not so much serious. It's more like okay, I'll explain to you in the best way I can. It's really about a girl who's still a bit immature, aka playing too much, too many games, too many mind games, all that stuff. And you know, she's just coming in and out of my life, you know, and that song is basically about that. You know, I'll be in the hook. I saying you play too much, you ain't serious. A lot of things left to experience. So like I'm talking about her, like she has a lot of stuff more to learn. before we can ever go anywhere serious. Because right now this is this child's play. You know what I'm saying? And look,
Yeah.
I don't expect perfectness. I don't expect perfection from anybody. I definitely cannot deliver perfection as much as I want to. But what I expect is realness, you know, and honesty. And if we cannot meet each other on that, like, then I don't think it's just gonna work either way.
With your music streaming in 91 countries, how does it feel to have your message resonate with a global audience?
One of the best feelings, to be honest, because it just proves what I've been saying all along. Because I always said I want to be international. I want to be a superstar worldwide. I want
Yeah.
to be famous worldwide. And for it to like manifest into that way, where I'm like, wow, okay, because I really just clicked on my Spotify app. You know how they have the reps, Spotify reps for like every year you get like the thing and stuff.
Yeah.
For that year, it was like I was like, wow, it was like such a crazy feeling, still is, you know, because it just shows me like, yeah, just keep doing that shit, keep going hard. I mean, either way, even if there was no validation, if there was nothing that would confirm what I believe in, I would still keep going. But to have those type of confirmations means a lot to me, you know.
Yeah. So you've launched a new platform, Gavis Dean, Divine Mission. What sparked the shift from musician to spiritual messenger?
Right. So my new channel, Gavis Dean Divine Mission, is basically me talking about spiritual things and my divine mission. What is my divine mission? My divine mission is to change the world, and we are
Yeah.
changing the world. And we're gonna have to do it with love, compassion, kindness, and respect by understanding each other, by coming together as people, understanding we all come from the one same God. You know, it does not matter what religion you have, what culture, what nationality, what race, all those type of things, it does not matter because we're all
Yeah.
come from the same thing. And those are the topics that I want to talk about within my channel, with this new channel, Jelly Dean Divine Mission, because within music, look, within music, I like to express different type of feelings, more like personal, you know, really like what's
Yeah.
happening in my interpersonal relationships. And with this channel is look, for years now, I really wanted to get into the spiritual lane content wise, but now even more than ever, I understood I had to learn just a little bit more spiritual maturity, you know, just a couple more key values that I had to integrate within myself before I could then go and teach, but most importantly, lead other people, you know, because now
Yeah.
it's fully aligned. It's really from a point of love. Like the main mission is love within all of that, love and unity for the people, you know. And all I want to say is thank God, you know, that I'm finally moving in that part of alignment. Ever since I stepped into that, uh, every day has been so different. It's such a different feeling, you know. You have to understand, for many years, I hid myself. Not in content wise. I was still posting my music, my interviews, all that stuff. You were still seeing Gavis Dean, but it was only such a small percentage of who I truly am. It was a version that where other people could still feel comfortable around it, you know, wearing masks and pretending all that stuff. But enough was enough, you know. I was faced with a lot of challenges, with a lot of challenges. Also, you know, dealing with the music industry and stuff, dealing with this system as a whole, you know.
Yeah.
And it was time for me just to stand in my truth, you know, really to speak what I got to speak on, not be fearful anymore. I was so scared for so many years because this system programs us to be in fear, to be in lack, to be slaves. You know, I keep saying this on my YouTube. They just see us as slaves. They oppressed us. They enslaved us. Look at the shit that we're being bombarded with. Social media, TV, all that type of stuff. They're feeding a certain propaganda that they're feeding us. You know, they have a certain propaganda that they're feeding us, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on for years. It's nothing new, but now it has reached such extreme heights where I was like, you know what? No, I will not be passive. I will not have the next generation and other generations after suffer and go through all the pain and trauma that I had to endure, that other people had to endure, just because they
Yeah.
made this world like that. No, it's over. God's children are here now, and we are making a change. And how are we making a change? Like I said, and I will always preach this forever: love, compassion, kindness, and respect. It sounds so simple, but these values are so important. I'm not talking about some out of this world, whatever concepts. No, I'm talking real life shit. And even when I teach spirituality, I still bring it in the most logical way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's for
Yeah.
us, it's for the people. And I really love humans, or some humans are fucking wild, crazy. But I
Yeah.
still got overall, yeah, to face confront
Yeah.
everything. But like I still have love for them, and what I also know is a lot of them would not be that way if it were in a different system. But like from a small age, look, it starts with school, right? You go to school, what happens? The first thing they teach you is sit there, shut up, don't talk. Only talk when you lift your hand. And not even then, only when the teacher gives you the permission to talk. So, like, from a small age, we're being trained to be slaves, to keep quiet, and to do as we're being told. Don't ask questions, don't talk too much,
Yeah.
just do. And I said, I will not stand for this. What kind of person am I by seeing all this and keeping my mouth shut? Because at the end of the day, we have to understand one thing: when you see someone doing evil and you're not stopping them, you're enabling them. So I was like, no, we gotta expose this. It's God's children are here. Good people are out there, and good people are getting ate up left and right from this bullshit system. And I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. And I understood I could not do it just for music in that message that I'm talking about now. I cannot just bring you that into a free song. You got a 3 minute song. You're gonna hear the song, you'll be like, nice song. But the message probably ain't gonna hit. That's why I said no. I need a whole new platform. I don't the music platform is the music platform. I've been building so much within that, so much
Yeah.
energy, so much time, so much, and I want to keep that. I want to keep my music profile for my music profile. But that's why I also said I will use the name Gavis Dean, like my artist name, and then add Divine Mission. So it's still within my brand. It's just another aspect of me. Dare I say, even more important for the world, because music is like, of course, it's important for the people that listen to it, but
Yeah.
it's music. What I'm doing, I'm going to the spirit. It's spiritual part. There's the things that we all
Go
experience,
through.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So I see your TikTok has like 700,000 views. What kind of content do you find connects most with your audience?
okay, so last year I did a lot of like love quotes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I was going through it. Like, look, the thing with me, I'm really a fucking expressive person. Whatever emotion I'm in, you're gonna know. With me, it's no guessing. You don't have to be like, I can tell if you're in a good. No, you don't tell. If I'm in a bad mood, you don't tell. If I'm in a good mood, you don't tell. Last year, especially, I don't know. I just made like a lot of love quotes because I guess I was just going through it, and that was performing really well. But now, like I said, I switched up the content completely, and it's full only real shit. Because even with the love quotes, you start using it too much as marketing. There's so many love quotes that I posted, I didn't even mean them at some point anymore because it's like, okay, I know it's gonna work, I know it's gonna get clicks, let me do it. But then this is where we already talking about, like, in a way, selling your soul. What is selling your soul? Selling on the simplest level, it's multi-layered. On the simplest layer, you're doing something that goes against your morals, aka you're doing something that you don't even like. And I was just like, man, I cannot do because I love content so much. I love, like, a lot of artists understand they don't like content, and I totally understand it because if you're a musician, all you want to do is make music. I understand it
Music.
fully. I had part in my journey where I felt the same way, but I love content still. I just love presenting myself, connecting with people, just making content. I really love it. And
Yeah.
now my content is really the most truthful and honest content that I ever made. And I understand and I see it also by the reactions and stuff how deeply I'm actually touching people right now compared to maybe in other years or whatever, because now it's really from the soul.
Yeah. So I see you also visited schools and had fan meetings. What's the most powerful or touching story you've heard from someone that listened to your music and gave you feedback?
Right. It was one fan, it was not even that long ago. His grandma, unfortunately, may she rest in peace, passed away. And he was
Yeah.
referring to one song. It's called "In Her Eyes," a song of mine, which is actually like a heartbreak song, but really emotional, like really, really emotional. And that person, like, sent me text message how much that song is helping them right now in that situation. I was like, wow, because that's such a traumatizing event, losing like the grandma and stuff or someone so close. And for them to have that song and it like touching them so deep was like, I'm like, wow. Like, I knew my music would touch people, but to see it play out in that type of way is like, wow. The power of
Yeah.
music is something that As much as I understand it, I still probably don't even understand it fully, you know? Like we all humans, I guess.
What what do you hope young artists and followers take away from your message, both musically and spiritually, if you have to wrap it up in a
Right.
sentence?
Right. Musically, what I want them to do is first of all be authentic. Be
Yeah,
yourself. Talk about your stories. You don't have to sound cool. You don't have to say X, Y, Z just because it's in trend or whatever. Really let your heart speak. Because for me, what I saw over the years is when I make music and I really talk about some shit that's going on with my life, and then weeks later I hear that song, I'm like, wow, that touches me so much. Of course, it touched me because I wrote it. But when
yeah,
you really live in that honesty, within your lyrics, you're doing yourself as such a favor, you know what I'm saying, in the long run, because you can always pinpoint, like, oh yeah, I know exactly that emotion, that person, whatever it is, you know. And my
yeah,
overall message on a spiritual level, but most importantly on a human level, is be authentic. So it's the same with as the music, you know. Be yourself, be your own beautiful light. God made you the way you are, you know what I'm saying? Proud of that, we should stand strong in our light. But most importantly, be loving, be compassionate, caring, and be kind, respectful to people, because those are the real values. And to wrap it up with one final sentence, together we are changing the world. I love you and the show.